You've probably seen the headlines: the Fed might start cutting rates. Markets are celebrating, investors feel relieved. But here's the deeper truth: even if short term rates drop, long term interest rates may stay elevated. And that's the rate that actually impacts your retirement income, investment returns, and a family wealth structure. If you are a middle class family with 500K to a few million in assets, this matters because the financial environment you're planning in has shifted. Let's break this down. Most people pay attention to the Fed's short term rate, but long term interest rates, like 10-year or 30-year Treasury yields, are driven by bigger forces: government debt, inflation expectations, global capital flows. Today, those long term rates are still climbing. Japan's 30-year yield went from 0.35% to over 3%. The UK's long bonds are at their highest since the late 90s, and the US 30-year treasuries are near 5%. This isn't a temporary blip. The US is borrowing over 1.6 trillion per year, and investors are demanding higher returns. So even if the Fed cuts short-term rates, long-term borrowing costs may remain structurally high. Why does this matter to your household? Because the entire logic of financial planning for the last decade, low rates, rising markets, stable returns, no longer applies in the same way. Today's stock market valuations are stretched. S&P 500 dividend yields are around 1.5%, but treasuries are paying over 4.5%. That kind of gap makes risk assets less attractive. And if you're relying on your portfolio to fund retirement withdrawals over the next 10 to 30 years, that volatility and a sequence risk becomes very real. So it's not just about finding the best performing investment, it is about building a structure that gives you consistent cash flow, risk diversification, tax smart distribution, and legacy options. That's where structure beats timing. In practical terms, that might look like stocks for long term growth, bonds for income stability, annuities for guaranteed income later in life, insurance for tax efficient wealth transfer, and asset protection. Each has its role, not to replace the others, but to complement. Because in a world of higher for longer rates, global debt stress, and a market uncertainty, the families who do best are not just picking the right stocks, they're building resilient frameworks that hold up over decades. So don't just ask, will the market go up if rates fall? Ask instead, is my retirement income plan ready for the next 10 years, regardless of what the Fed does next? If you're building a retirement plan, structure matters more than timing.